Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'll be working with some Coca Rosa dies that they sent me again. And this is a little bendy tree and we've got a stack of snowmen and their scarves, hats, their little stick arms, their little carrot noses, and some tiny, tiny little earmuffs for the littlest, tiniest snowman. And so I'm just breaking these apart and trying to figure out what's what. There's a little hat with a little fur trim on it and a little dot for the fluff. And I'm going to cut my tree out of this green tree paper. And it's got different shades of green there. And I thought that would make my tree look interesting without having to do any coloring. And I'm basically going to use this pattern paper here from Hobby Lobby for all of the decorative pieces. Of course, all of my snowmen are going to be die cut out in white, as well as the fur of the hat and the little ball of the hat. And then I'll bring in some red and some additional pattern paper for the hats and the scarves. There's all of these little snowmen have little scarves, and I'll make a couple of hats for a couple of the bigger snowmen. And I'm just taking little tiny snips of this paper and using it for the scarves. I'm going to use some of this red here too as well. And then I'm going to need some black for their little branch arms, and I'll also need some orange for their noses. At first I die cut it out in black because I don't realize what it is, and then I'll go back and die cut it out in orange. And then we will begin our assembling. I'm going to speed this up because there's quite a bit of die cutting of these little teeny tiny pieces, and that way you won't have to watch me do this in real time. Okay, so we have most of our pieces here, and I'm just taking my pick tool and popping out anything that needs to pop out of these snowmen. One of them, the eyes and the nose pop out of it, and then the rest of them just have like score marks, indentations. And so I've got to pop all of the little pieces out. That was the tiny little scarf for the tiniest little pumpkin. And then I'm just getting all of my scarves and my little hats and my trim pieces and everything. I'm just getting them all popped out of the dies and laying them down on there. I think I take one of the dies and one or of the dies and die cut out another scarf so that all of them have scarves. I'm just kind of lining them up, trying to figure out what size fits on which snowman. I started to call it a pumpkin. And then I'll decide, which one I want to die cut another one out of. So I think I'm going to go with the largest one and then just bring in another piece of pattern paper and die cut it out for that one. And I'm just going to choose another plaid. And we'll bring the scout back in and we'll get it die cut out. Now this is pretty fussy, so if you don't like fussy, you might struggle with this a little bit. But if you love all the little pieces, parts like I do, you'll love this. This will be really up your alley. And it's super cute the way it stacks. And then the littlest snowman is actually putting the star on top of the tree. Super cute little set. Very inexpensive. You need all the tools for this. You need your tweezers, you need your pokey tool, you just need all the tools for this. And you need a fine glue tip. And I'm just laying the scarves down on these little snowmen. I think I probably made, yesterday was my day off. It was Monday. I don't have the boys on Monday. And I think I probably made 3 or 4 videos in which I did several cards. I just tried to prepare for the week ahead. I had a couple of hops that are going to run later in the week, and I got all of those uploaded and into the appropriate playlist. And then I made a couple of extra videos. I think I filled my whole week, and so I was happy about that, and was pretty productive on Monday. I also made homemade meatballs and spaghetti with angel hair pasta, salad, and some garlic toast for dinner, and was pretty happy with everything I got done. I did get some laundry put away and my closet semi-organized, and so I had a very productive Monday. So I should be in good shape today. I'm voicing this over at 5 a.m. because I woke up at, 4 a.m. And actually, my granddaughter had gotten a new Taylor Swift sweatshirt from the concert, and their dog, I've talked about the dog before on my channel, the small horse, had jumped up and snagged the back of her sweatshirt the first day she wore it. So she was upset about it. And I'd taken it on Friday because she'd asked me to repair it. And so this morning I got up and I thought, I need to get that repaired before I go to the house because I want to take it to her because I'm sure she'll be happy to have it. So before I did this voiceover, I stitched up her little sweatshirt and fixed it for her. And it turned out amazingly well. I was worried that I might not be able to get it nice enough, but I think it went pretty well, and it'll work out for her so she can wear her sweatshirt. And I know it was a costly sweatshirt because it came from the concert. But anyway, so she'll have that, and she'll be happy to have that this morning. So I'm just continuing to assemble all these little pieces, and I'm getting a glued up mess on my desk. So I took a minute, and I cleaned it all off. And now I'm going to get back to the pieces. Now this is where I am putting the tiny, tiny little earmuffs onto the little snowman. And I made a glue puddle there and just ran my little earmuffs through that. And I'm going to fuss with getting this laid down on there right. Just using the tweezers to kind of move it around and then I'm going to start bringing in, I think, their little noses. And these are so cute. They're so fine, but they're so cute. And I just used some yellow-orange cardstock to die cut those noses out. And I'm just sipping my coffee this morning, enjoying some coffee. I'm actually into my second cup since I got up at 4. Oh my goodness, I'll have to move to decaf so I can have a couple more cups. I drink hazelnut. My husband drinks decaf, and so I'll have to tap into his decaf so that I'm not zooming. I thought maybe the little guy didn't have a nose because he was so small, but I just took one and trimmed it down because I wanted him to have a little nose too. And so I'll die cut out enough so that everybody has a nose. And for the most of the snowmen, I'm not going to use those little tiny black dots that die cut out with the stems. I mean, they're just minuscule. I'll just take one of my Cricut markers and just dot the eyes and the cool pieces for the eyes, the cool pieces for the buttons, and just darken it in with that, and that'll be simple. And for the one that has the holes, I'm going to take just a black piece and put it behind there, and it'll darken the eyes on this one, and it'll give me a landing spot for the orange nose, because the nose on the biggest one has a die cut hole that you put it into, and I wanted it to lay on something. Since I'm not laying it directly on my card base right now, I'm using that black piece to secure it and also to darken in the eyes. And I'm just going to start stacking these guys to get an idea of what it's going to look like and how the hats will work with the scarves. At first I thought I could only put a hat on the top one. And then later, I think maybe even after I stop filming, I'll add one to the other bigger one that I can fit one on. And then here's where I'm taking that Cricut marker, and it has the finest point on it. And I'm just trying to fill in those black dots. And it's not perfect. I have a misstep with one of the eyes, but it will get the job done. And I even bring in my colorless blender to try to clean up my boo-boo, and it didn't help. So I've got all my pieces there, and now I've just got to create some kind of a panel for it. And so I'm just going to bring in a white panel, and I'm going to bring in 3 of my oxides and just create a sky scene that's kind of wispy and windy looking. And I'll just layer these 3 colors together. You can use any 3 blues that you have that coordinate. I think it's Uncharted Mariner. I can't think. I'll link them in the description box below if I remember. And I'll clean my desk off, and I've just created a little wispy cloud scene. And I brought in this scrap piece of, this is actually watercolor paper. It was the first scrap I saw that I had. And I'm just creating a little snow mound. I'm going to make 2 snow mounds. I'll layer them up and just try to figure out how I want to position them on here. And I'll need to make sure I have plenty of room for that tall tree. I'm going to die cut this piece out because I want a little edge around there. And then we'll figure out how we want to lay this snow mound on here. And I always use the piece I cut away. Most of the time I use the piece I cut away as well, to where I'll have a couple of layers of snow. I'm just going to figure out how I want to lay it down on there. And then we'll just come around and cut the back off. And we've got a snowy scene. And if you have a hill die that's stitched or whatever, you could do that, and that would add some additional interest to it. Now I'm just going to start piling these up to kind of figure out how I need to angle it so that my littlest snowman is putting the star on the tree. And this is how it's going to go. So now all we got to do is get them laid down on there. Now this black piece has got all the little sticks to the arms in it. And the one that is holding the snowman, he's going to have 2 arms, and the rest of them will just show 1 arm, because their other arm will be on the other side of their body, on the back side of the scene. So we only need to add 1. And these are just little, and this teeniest, tiniest one here is the littlest snowman's hands, and he's going to be holding the star. So I'm going to fuss around with getting those hands positioned on the star like I want it. And it'll be quite a bit of fussing. I had to bring it up really close so I could see, and then they came apart, and then I'm going to actually clean the glue off the star, start over, and get it laid down on there, and then pinch it how I want it and just lay it aside. Let it glue. And now I'm going to attach it at the top of my screen to the little snowman and just leave my tweezers on it and let it dry. And I'm in my husband's man cave, and his little refrigerator's kicked on. That's what that humming noise is. I apologize for that. I know it's extremely annoying. My husband obviously is still asleep because it's 5:16 in the morning. So I can camp out in his little man cave and do the voiceover and not disturb him. So here I'm going to lay my little snowman on here and get it positioned to where the star is on the tree. And I just thought it was easier to work from the top down. That way you get that little snowman positioned on that tree, and then you can work from there. And I'm going to lay the arms as I go just to make sure I've got them in the right spot. And I realized I needed to get one of the arms behind the snowman, so I pulled him back up and put that one behind there. And then I'll angle the other one in a different position so you can see them both. And there's a lot of glue, and so I'm trying to get it wiped up and not make such a mess. And there I've got both of his hands holding the little guy up there, and I'm going to start stacking my other snowman and getting their little arms on. And I'm just trying to choose arms based on proximity to the next, snowman. So I'll need longer ones for some and shorter ones for others. And this comes together really cute. If you can be patient and put all your little bits and pieces there, you got a really, really cute scene. And each little snowman is just reaching up and holding the next one. And I didn't get enough glue on the heads of a couple of them, so I had to lift it up and put some more glue on there. Now I'm cleaning off my blending brush because I thought I didn't shadow my snow. And so I'm just going to go in and put some shadowing in there. And I get a little bit too heavy-handed in some spots, and I'll try to work around it a little bit. I'm adding a little bit of shading to the snowman as well. This is where I get a little heavy-handed on that one. Cleaning off my desk, and this is where I'm going to bring in, I brought in some gray, just plain gray. I was thinking about pattern paper, but I thought, no, I'm just going to bring in some plain gray and just get it laid down on there and just let the focal point really stand out. Get it lined up well. And then I'm going to lay it on my card base. I kind of struggle a little bit with this. And then I decide I'm going to bring in some of these gems, these little iridescent gems, and just put a whole bunch of them all over it. And it'll add some sparkle and shine, almost like little glistening snowflakes coming down. And then I decide, I'm looking at that spot there, and I bring in my picket fence, which is white ink, and just a new blending brush, and just try to blend it out. And I'll blend in a couple different spots. I think it helped a little bit. I did try the colorless blender on it. It didn't help, I don't think. And so that'll finish off her card. I think it turned out pretty cute. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.